Hello again. Welcome to the Karuna Chronicles. I'm Don, and thank you for tuning in. I thought before I get into this, maybe you'd want to know about how and where all of this originated for me to be able to, or the sequence of basically my life that allowed me to sit in front of you and talk to you about all of this. I was raised a Roman Catholic and practiced that for about, somewhere near 20 years. I was even in a seminary studying to be a priest for a year. And I really valued the essence of Catholicism, which is compassion. And I was really caught up in the rituals and the sanctity of it and the feeling and all of that. Where, as I grew older and started doing a more in-depth examination, I found that there were a dearth of answers for me that would establish a logic and a morality that I could follow that was not fallible. And so I became a bit restless, and magically something came along to awaken awaken me, yes, but also answer the questions that the Catholic religion couldn't. Now, I'm not denigrating the Catholic religion. Jesus Christ was the expression of compassion on this earth and love. And for that, he should be treasured by all beings that have ever lived, will live, or are living at present. But I found another avenue through an Indian yogi named Paramahansa Yogananda. And I was introduced to yoga, yogic philosophy, and Eastern philosophy in general. Concepts like reincarnation and karma and things like that. And I practiced with him for about 12 to 15 years, something like that, and was extremely happy. I felt that I was growing as a person, and a lot of the questions that I felt that I was not getting answered in the Catholic religion, I was with Yogananda, who coincidentally, one of his gurus was Jesus Christ. And so there was a natural segue for me from Christ to Christ through Yogananda. And so it felt comfortable. It felt like home. And I was extremely happy. And one day a friend called me and asked me if I wanted to go see the Karmapa, who at the time I didn't know anything about what a Karmapa was or is or anything, and I thought it was a rock band. So I went with him to the Shrine Auditorium in Los Angeles, and expecting to see a rock band. Instead, I walk into a cacophony of cymbals and horns and a cloud of incense smoke, and all of these people sitting around in expectation that is just jumping out of their bodies. And after a little while, a bunch of robed monks came in, followed by this middle-aged man who was, the only way I can express it, was the embodiment of compassion on this earth. And I just took one look at him and knew that this person had all the answers to any question I would ever have. And so since that time, it's been maybe 35 years or so, I've been a Buddhist practitioner and a teacher for the last 15. But what I want to present to you is not only what the teachings that I have gotten, but more importantly is how you can utilize Christianity or Hinduism or Buddhism or anything in your lives as an active component so that you're living your lives through the principles of compassion and love and generosity and kindness and wisdom, etc. Back to where we left off in the last session, and that is impermanence of mind and emotion. How to take this impermanence and look at our lives and develop a moral compass that is more something that can move with the changing conditions and circumstances in life and allow us the flexibility to make basically the most compassionate, loving, kind, and wise decision every time we face a choice to be made. Now, that's not easy to do, and it's going to take a revolution in our thinking and in our feeling and in our motivation, because we have, no matter what age you are, we have up to the point that you are now in your life of conditioning vis-a-vis our parents, our law structures in our societies, our educational experiences and biases, our religious experiences and biases, our own faiths and beliefs. This is a lot to not overcome, but to part the waters in a sense so that we can not divorce these things necessarily, but understand with a little more clarity that space where the ocean meets the sky and you can't tell which is sky and which is ocean. We want the clarity of the in-between. First of all, our mental body is extraordinarily strong. Now, I cannot tell you where our mental body is located, originates, but I can describe some of its functions. I would say that normally the description of our mental body is generally attributed to our brain. I really don't think that that's the case myself. I think the brain is a collection of neural pathways and chemical components that are stimulators. And as we get sensory input from our five senses, and as we get emotional input from our emotional body, that activates the chemicals and the neurons, et cetera, in our brain to produce a response to those. So, but for all intents and purposes, I'm completely comfortable with saying our brain is the originator. But I would technically, or in my mind, I have a mental body, and I have an emotional body. I have a physical body. I have a spiritual body. And all of these form me as an individual. Every being on earth has this. Every being, every sentient being. And we as humans are extremely fortunate because we can actually touch, understand, and utilize every one of these bodies to its fullest extent. And more importantly, we can understand these bodies. So when I refer to my mental body, I'm saying that this is the realm that is the thought creator, is the decision maker, is the judgment creator, is the place that I go to utilize the power of mental exercise and the power of choice. When I refer to my emotional body, this is the place that gives rise to the human emotions that are triggered by circumstances and conditions, and that can manifest as gentle, sweet love or violent, extreme emotion, and everything in between. We're capable mentally and emotionally of anything and everything that has ever been expressed. Now, we're going to say to ourselves, oh, I could never kill another human being. I can't make that statement. because while I have not killed, I'm fully capable of doing it because killing is a choice. Maybe sometimes it doesn't seem like it, like if I'm in a war situation and I'm holding a rifle and somebody's shooting at me, well, as a preservation of life condition, I probably would want to shoot back. And if the result of that shooting back costs somebody else's life, I'm probably going to feel justified because, he was trying to kill me. Well, those are things that get us into trouble in terms of establishing our own moral compass. Many of the established religions in this world have commandments or guidelines or dictums that say, as the Christian religions do, thou shalt not kill. Well, that's a fairly definitive statement. Thou shalt not kill. That means no killing. It doesn't mean no killing of humans. It means no killing. But we don't follow that strictly. We may justify the killing of animals for our food. We may justify the extermination of ants as a bother. We may justify the extermination of rats because they're a health hazard. Now, all of these do have some validity to it, but and we may justify the killing of another human being, as in war or defense of your life or property or something like that. But that does not jive with the thou shalt not kill. So how do we come up with a foolproof pathway that we can follow, that we don't have exceptions to the rule, to where, okay, I'm a loyal practitioner of whatever faith I am a practitioner of, and I believe that the rule thou shalt not kill is valid in my life and I want to practice it, but it was just an ant, well, but somebody else killed the chicken, I just bought it at the store. There's so many exceptions to these rules that it makes it very, very confusing to take a definitive declarative statement like thou shalt not kill and live by it. You'll find that there are very simple ways that you can make your choices based on two principal avenues and introduce in your life a pathway for yourself through your own experience that will produce happiness, joy, peace, love, kindness, and all of it guided by wisdom. And you'll be one of the most generous people on this earth, because once you develop these things within you, which are already there, once they come into the forefront of your life and they supplant the mental constructs and the emotional attachments that we have habitually created in our lives, then you can truly go to bed every single night and say, this was a good day. And so that in the next segment, I'm going to flesh out a little bit more about how we get to the point of making choices through our mental and emotional bodies. Once again, thank you for watching, and I sincerely hope that you find what you're looking for through the Karuna Chronicles. If you like this video, hit the like button, and if you want to find out what's coming, hit the subscribe button. We want this to be an open forum, so we welcome your comments and questions, and we'll endeavor to answer them as quickly as we can. Again, thank you very much.